Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News Telecast, brought to you live from the Rupavahini News Studios. I'm Vibhuda Vijay Bandara.
And I'm Dilanjali Ananda, and these are your top stories for tonight.
Power supply restored island-wide. Sri Lanka received fourth IMF installment of $333 million upon IMF Executive Committee approval. Clean Sri Lanka beach cleaning program commences. A bhikkhu who gave an ambulance to the village by selling 2 motor vehicles. Compensation on house damages during the Aragala period was provided, contravening the disaster relief policy. Preliminary rounds in the selection of Ru Kirula 2025 Aurudu Kumari successfully concludes. 41 persons killed in a road accident in southern Mexico.
And now for the headlines and other stories in detail. The Ceylon Electricity Board says power has been restored in all areas in the country.
An all-island power outage occurred around 11:15 a.m. due to an incident at the Panadura substation. The sudden power failure occurred at the Kotuma Panadura substation belonging to the Ceylon Electricity Board caused an imbalance in the national grid, which led to an island-wide power outage. All divisions of the Electricity Board took joint efforts in restoring the power supply in the country. Steps were taken to restore the power supply for areas with essential service providers, including Colombo National Hospital and Ambatale Water Purification Plant. The Ceylon Electricity Board was able to restore the power supply to some of the areas around 3 p.m. today. Accordingly, Ceylon Electricity Board informed that the power supply to all areas in the country has been restored at present. The Ministry of Power has indicated that an investigation will be launched to inquire into the causes of the sudden power failure.
The International Monetary Fund says that its executive board approval will be extended for the staff level agreement reached for the third review based on whether the 2025 budget is consistent with the parameters identified under the agreed program and the implementation by the authorities for the prior actions. Director of the IMF Communications Department, Julie Kozak, made these remarks during a media briefing held recently. A group of IMF representatives met with President Anura Kumar Dissanayake last Thursday and discussed on the IMF program and its progress. During the media briefing, IMF Communications Director Kozak said that the IMF board meeting is expected to take place in the coming weeks. She added that upon arrival, Sri Lanka will have access to about $333 million in financing.
Once approved by the IMF's executive board, Sri Lanka will have access to about $333 million in financing, and we expect the board meeting to take place in the coming weeks. Here I'd also just like to take the opportunity to emphasize that Sri Lanka's ambitious reform agenda is delivering commendable outcomes. The economy expanded by 5.5% in the third quarter of 2024. Average headline and core inflation remain contained well below the target during the fourth quarter of 2024, and international reserves increased to $6.1 billion at the end of 2024.
Clean Sri Lanka beach cleaning program under the theme A Beautiful Beach and Attractive Tourist Destination was commenced today. The program will be spearheaded by the Presidential Secretariat, and the implementation will be done with the support of the state sector, private sector, non-government and community organizations. The inaugural event of the program was held at Mattakulya Beach Park this morning. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya presided over the event. As a part of the initiative, Beach cleaning programs will be conducted simultaneously at 124 locations across the western and southern provinces with the goal of cleaning 1,740 kilometers of coastline nationwide. Sri Lanka's coastal belt is considered an extremely attractive travel destination which is comprised of diverse ecosystems including corals, mangroves and lagoons.
Prime Minister
Dr. Harini Amarasuri said that the Clean Sri Lanka program is not just about physical cleanliness. It holds a deeper meaning, eliminating obstacles to a civilized way of life, not only in the surroundings but also in the mindset. The main event of the Western and Southern Province beach cleaning program was held at the Kaluthura South Coastal Line. It was held with the participation of Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. A total of 23 zones in the beach line including Kaluthura, Panadura and Beruwala will be cleaned under the program. Representatives from Kaluthura Municipal Council, Pradeshya Sabha, Triforces, the police and state and non-government organizations took part in this event. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that through this clean reflect on the country's image. He said that such projects would contribute largely to the program underway to instill positive social attitude among the masses. Another phase of the Clean Sri Lanka program was initiated at the Unawatana beach. It was held with the participation of Deputy Minister Ratna Gamage. Another beach cleaning program was held from Wattala to Negombo this morning with the participation of Minister Mahinda Jayasinghe. The police, security forces, Negombo Municipal Council and community organizations took part in this initiative. 15 locations along the Mathura district coastal line were cleaned today in line with the Clean Sri Lanka national program. District secretaries, secretariat, security forces and Mathura police took part in this initiative. Minister Sunil Hanunetti was also present at the occasion. 6-kilometer long Vehiwala Mount Livina beach line was also cleaned under the Clean Sri Lanka national program. Parliamentarian Samanali Gunasinghe was present at the occasion. Beach cleaning program from Kudavalla to Tissa Kirinda in Tangor was initiated with the participation of Deputy Minister Ruwan Senara. The beach cleaning program from Sitsarahamarama to Hambantota was carried out with the support of security forces, government agencies and local community organizations.
A story of a bhikkhu who had sold 2 motor cars of the Vihara and using the money to provide an ambulance to the village has been reported from Mahiyanganaya. The benevolent philanthropist is chief incumbent of the Sri Sudarshana Rama Vihara in Mapakadavava, Mahiyanganaya, Venerable Mallava Haravave Sri Saranankara Thera. Attorney at Law Dr. Pratibha Mahana The Venerable Thera had used the money from the sale of a Montero type Jeep in the temple as well as funds obtained by mortgaging another motor car to carry out this meritorious act. The service has been named as a Suwa Sahana ambulance service from the temple to the village. Minister Samant Chief incumbent of the Mapakadavava Sri Sudarshana Rama Mahiyanganaya, Venerable Mallava Haravave Sri Saranankara Thera said that something had to be done from the temple to the village. There are many people with various financial and other difficulties who do not have facilities to arrive at a hospital. Such people will be immensely benefited by this measure. Minister Samantha Vidyaratna said that an attitudinal change is needed. They, as the government, are making efforts to create such a change in attitudes in society. The Clean Sri Lanka project is one such program to deal with this situation.
Attorney at Law Dr. Pratibha Mahanama told media that compensation had been given to former MPs and ministers whose houses were damaged during the Aragalaya period, contravening the Disaster Relief Service policy. Attorney at Law Dr. Pratibha Mahanama said that a sum of 2.5 million rupee compensation is being provided at present for a house totally destroyed in a natural calamity. Yet a sum of 1.24 billion rupees had been paid as compensation for 43 parliamentarians and ministers. This means more than 1,000 times of compensation had been provided. It is perplexing to find how such an enormous surcharge had been made. Therefore, it is imperative to investigate immediately as to why such a huge compensation was paid. A new parliamentary committee could be appointed to look into the incident. The state officials should also assist in this endeavour. It has also been pointed out that these parliamentarians had received fire insurance claims as well. There were insurance companies which compiled insurance coverages in this regard. A question arises as to how could the parliamentarians receive such state funds after obtaining funds from the insurance coverages as well. Payments were provided by the Treasury for these illicit dealings. Ultimately, it was the tax money of the general public used for these criminal acts. It would be extremely conducive for the country if the government takes measures to investigate and recover the dues from these errant politicians. Minister Hiniduma Sunil Senevi says accusations launched against him regarding a gem mine are totally false.
Today's fact check feature looks into this allegation. Some social media in the recent past had circulated news regarding the handing over of a gem mine in Singharaja to a friend of Minister Hiniduma Sunil Senevi. Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs Hiniduma Sunil Senevi said that it should be mentioned clearly that the businessman named Sunanda Deepal is not a friend of him, and he had seen him only on one occasion and also from a distance. He had never engaged in any conversation with this person. He had only talked to him very recently over the phone, and that was to make a clarification on this matter. A complaint had been made by the minister in the social media unit of the Police Compute Investigations Division regarding the incident on the 8th of this month. He added that he had requested to enforce law sternly against those who fabricated this story in a manner of bringing insults to him, using a headline to the story in extremely low and inferior language. The preliminary stage competition to select the Roop Kirula 2025 along with the Bonita Rupavahini Aurdu Kumariya was successfully concluded today.
1,500 young beauties out of more than 15,000 applicants were convened to the Rupavahini Corporation premises today for the selection process. A panel of veteran judges has been engaged in selecting contestants of the Roop Kirula 2025 preliminary stage competition since this morning. The board included veteran choreographer Dr. Channa Vijayawardena, actress Upeksha Swarnamali, modeling consultant Rukmal Senaratna, Dr. Prasad Deshapriya, model Chulakshi Ranatunga, marketing manager of Nature's Beauty Creations Ruan Vikramarachi, and beautician Shatu Jayavira. 100 out of the 1,500 contestants who presented themselves in the first stage have been selected for the second round, and out of this number, another 17 contestants have been elected for the third round. 12 contestants were selected for the final round this evening. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Gihan De Silva, said that Roop Kirula 2025 is a national competition conducted by a veteran panel of extremely qualified judges. Therefore, final contestants of the preliminary round are being selected according to the highest standards. The finals of the Roop Kirula 2025 will be conducted at the Mavatagama Public Esplanade on the 15th of April in parallel to the Siri Lakapiri Aurdu Siri Rupavahini Aurdu Udanaya. The official print media sponsor is Sirikata newspaper. Now, a fire has erupted in a motor vehicle spare parts repairing institute in the Angoda town this afternoon. Several adjoining buildings in the vicinity were also reported to have been completely destroyed in the fire. Residents were engaged in strenuous efforts to dousing the flame prior to the arrival of the fire service trucks. However, by that time, the fire had spread to the nearby buildings as well. 2 fire brigades of the Kotte Municipal Council and a fire service vehicle of the Sri Lanka Air Force were finally able to extinguish the fire. The Motor Spare Parts Institute and an adjoining house and a shop was fully gutted by the flames. The exact cause for the fire has not yet been determined.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that a speedy program will be implemented to create new vistas in the postal service connected to the tourist industry. He further says the project will be centered upon major towns in the southern province attracted to tourism. The minister has made these remarks participating in an observation tour at the office complex of the Southern Province Postal Department. Minister Dr. Jayatissa has instructed officials at this occasion to present expedited development plan to reflect upon the historical heritage and cultural features in the task of letter collecting and other postal services. The ultimate objective is to attract tourists. Attention has also been focused to upgrade the official residences belonging to the Sri Lanka Postal Department in the southern province, which could be diverted as tourist bungalows. The minister has also expressed willingness to provide speedy solutions to the problems in postal delivery in the southern province.
And we have more news from home in brief. The National Building Research Organisation says air quality in 9 areas in the island has gone down. These areas are Galle, Kandy, Ratnapura, Ambalipitiya, Putlam, Badulla, Trincomalee, Polonnaruwa and Anuradhapura. The lowest air quality was reported from Karapita in Galle, which was between 106 and 114 units. The Consumer Affairs Authority has conducted a special operation to look into the standards of dates imported to the country for the Ramazan festival. The search was conducted in shops in Petta yesterday. The case was filed against a businessman who was preparing to sell 220 kilograms of dates, of which date of expiry has lapsed. Kalapola art exhibition has commenced in front of the Elephant Orphanage in Pinnawala today. The event was organized by the Pinnawala Art Foundation. The aim was to popularize among foreign tourists of the handicraft drawings, batik clothes and other produce of local artists. Minister Dr. Dhammika Pattabandi and others were at the opening ceremony. And that's all the news we have from home. Stay tuned for international stories coming up next. Now, on foreign news, Israel's troops have withdrawn from the Netzarim corridor, a military zone cutting off the north of the Gaza Strip from the south. The Israeli withdrawal is in line with the Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement of January 19th, under which 21 Israeli hostages and 566 Palestinian prisoners have so far been freed. Hundreds of Palestinians have begun to return to northern Gaza following the pullout, often to scenes of utter destruction. By the end of the first stage of the ceasefire, in 3 weeks' time, 33 hostages and 1,900 prisoners are expected to have been freed. Israel has indicated that 8 of the 33 are dead. Hamas seized 251 hostages and killed about 1,200 people when it attacked Israel in 2023, triggering the Gaza war. At least 48,189 Palestinians have been killed in Israel's offensives, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry. About two-thirds of Gaza's buildings have been damaged or destroyed by Israel's attacks, according to the United Nations. About 700,000 residents of northern Gaza fled to southern areas at the start of the war, when the Israeli military issued mass evacuation orders before launching a ground invasion of the Palestinian territory. Israeli forces partially withdrew from the west of the corridor last month, and the first Palestinians pedestrians were allowed to walk along the coastal Rush Street as they crossed into northern Gaza.
At least 41 people have died in an accident involving a bus in southern Mexico. Images show the bus completely burned out after it was engulfed by flames following the collision last morning. Reports have indicated that 48 passengers were on board the vehicle, which had been traveling from Cancun to Tabasco when it collided with a trailer. The government of Tabasco state said that 41 people have died and recovery work was still ongoing. The public ministry has informed that the investigation will be taken into effect. The government state of Tabasco said recovery work is continuing, including efforts to identify those killed.
Now, all 10 people aboard a small plane that went missing and was later discovered crashed in Alaska have been confirmed dead. The plane had been traveling from Unalakleet to Nome on Thursday when it went missing. The plane was found crashed on Friday. Crews are still working to recover the bodies of 10 people killed in a plane crash in Alaska. The Cessna Grand Caravan aircraft, operated by regional operator Bering Air, was traveling from Unalakleet to Nome on Thursday when it lost radar contact. 9 passengers and a pilot were on board the plane when it came down in Norton Sound, about 55 kilometers southeast of Nome, a city of about 3,500 on Alaska's west coast.
The growing popularity of bird watching is driving the expansion of ecotourism in China, as nature enthusiasts flock to scenic spots across the country to observe rare and migratory bird species. In East China's Jiangxi province, 230 species of rare birds, including white cranes, swans and oriental storks, draw tens of thousands of tourists for bird watching each day. Meanwhile, in East China's Shandong province, white swans dancing gracefully in the snow captivated numerous tourists. The Zaxiao Pier in the southern shore of Shandong's coastal city Jingdao, flocks of seagulls have drawn numerous tourists eager to capture the moment in photos. Moving on to news from the sporting arena. The Australian team has recorded a 9-wicket easy victory against Sri Lankan team in the second test match of the current series between the two countries at Galle International Cricket Stadium today.
The Australians have made a clean sweep of 2-0 in the test series. Today's match was a farewell of the test cricket career of Dimuth Karunaratne. The Australian team has collected 414 runs in their first innings in response to Sri Lanka team's first inning total of 257 runs. The local team was facing imminent defeat when the play resumed for the fourth day this morning, scoring only 211 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in the second innings. Kusal Mendes undaunted, but the team's batting collapse has hit a brave 50 runs, registering his 21st half-century in Test cricket. However, the local team's score ended with 231 runs all out. Another somewhat successful batsman was Angelo Matthews, who scored 76 runs. The best Australian bowlers were Matthew Kuhnman and Nathan Lyon, who captured 4 wickets each. The Australian team has successfully chased the victory target of 75 runs, giving away only 1 wicket. Dimuth Karunaratne, who had entered the international test arena in 2012, represented the team for 14 consecutive years, appearing in 100 matches. He was the 7th Sri Lankan cricketer who have played 100 test matches. Karunaratne's total score in all these matches was 7,222 runs, which included 16 centuries and 39 half-centuries. Dimuth Karunaratne is the fourth highest scorer in the test matches of Sri Lanka team. Some critics consider him as the best Sri Lankan opening batsman. He had given leadership to the Sri Lanka team in 30 test matches.
Yeah, tremendous every game and playing so well.
Yeah, a few things I think some...
versus Australia post-match presentation, which is powered.
It's a long career with my friends, and after my family, I was spending so much time with these guys, so I'm a bit emotional because I'm leaving them. But wherever I go, I think I will always support them, and if anything needs them, I will always have to help them. I think all those are memorable things. When you play 100 test match for your country, it's not easy. But I think when I started my cricket, when I start to play test cricket, I think that's my one goal. I think luckily I was into cricket and playing cricket for so long, and I'm happy the way I am today, and always I want to thank the SLC and my players and everyone who supported me throughout my career. I think that's really unbelievable achievement for me. Thank you හැමෝටම ආපු හැමෝටම මං වෙනුවෙන් මම හැමෝගෙම ඉල්ලනවා මේ විදිහටම සපෝට් එක දෙන්න ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රිකට් එකට. අපේ හොඳ ක්‍රිකටර්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා, ඒගොල්ලෝ තා ඉස්සරහට ගොඩක් ක්‍රිකට් ගහනවා. I think ඒගොල්ලන්ට දිගටම සපෝට් කරන්න, එන්කරේජ් කරන්න, ඉස්සරහට ගොඩක් ජයග්‍රහණ ඒගොල්ලෝ ලබා දෙන්න.
With that, we end today's live news telecast. See you again tomorrow. I'm Vibhuda Vijay Bandar alongside Dulanjali Ananda. Good night and goodbye.